Across the English Channel, over 150,000 Allied troops awaited the order. June 5, 1944, was cold and rough. Weather delays stretched nerves to breaking point.
This was Operation Overlord, the largest amphibious invasion ever conceived. Allied planners mapped 5 distinct landing zones: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword.
Just after midnight on June 6, airborne pathfinders dropped into darkness. Their mission? Secure bridges and crossroads, disrupt German defenses ahead of the main assault.
Before dawn, a thunderous roar erupted. Allied battleships, cruisers, and destroyers unleashed an immense barrage on coastal fortifications.
Thousands of landing craft, packed with infantry and armor, churned through choppy waves. Seasickness was rampant, fear palpable.
On Omaha Beach, the Americans faced concentrated German fire. Beach obstacles and heavy machine guns tore through the first waves.
Casualties mounted rapidly. Many men drowned under heavy packs. Others fell before reaching the seawall. It was a slaughter.
West of Omaha, Utah Beach offered a different story. Strong currents pushed landing craft off target, but lighter German resistance meant fewer losses.
To the east, British and Canadian forces landed on Gold, Juneau, and Sword beaches. They faced stiff but scattered German opposition. By day's end, despite heavy losses, Allied forces held precarious beachheads. Over 156,000 men were ashore. The foothold was established.
The immediate challenge was logistics. Supplies, vehicles, and reinforcements poured across the channel, often under fire. Critical to success were the prefabricated Mulberry harbors. These artificial ports allowed continuous offloading of vital war material.
German high command struggled to respond effectively. Hitler's indecision and Allied air superiority delayed crucial panzer divisions. Inland, the fight shifted to the Normandy Bocage. Thick hedgerows, ancient and formidable, turned every field into a killing zone.
The advance was agonizingly slow. Each hedgerow had to be taken, often in brutal close-quarters combat.
Engineers developed rhino devices for tanks, cutting through the hedgerows. Slowly, the tactical stalemate began to break. To the west, American forces pushed towards Cherbourg, a vital deep-water port. The fight was fierce, street by street.
By late June, Cherbourg fell. Its harbor was heavily damaged, but its capture secured a critical supply line for the American advance.
To the east, British and Canadian troops fought for Caen. This strategic city, a German strongpoint, became a brutal urban battleground.
Repeated Allied bombardments flattened much of Caen. The fighting was prolonged, house by house, with heavy casualties on both sides.
Throughout the campaign, Allied air power dominated the skies. Fighters and bombers systematically isolated German forces, striking supply lines and troop concentrations.
Desperate German counterattacks, though often fierce, were ultimately blunted by Allied air superiority and overwhelming firepower.
Behind the front lines, medical units worked tirelessly. Field hospitals treated thousands, a constant reminder of the war's grim toll.
War correspondents like Ernie Pyle documented the human face of the invasion. His dispatches brought the gritty reality of the GI's struggle home.
By late July, General Omar Bradley's 1st U.S. Army prepared Operation Cobra. This massive aerial bombardment would open a path for a decisive breakout.
On July 25th, thousands of Allied bombers unleashed a carpet of bombs west of St. Lo. The earth trembled and German lines shattered.
Following the bombardment, American armored divisions, led by General George Patton, surged through the gaping holes. The breakout had begun.
The advance was swift, turning the static Bocage fighting into a war of maneuver. Allied columns raced south and east, liberating town after town. As the Americans swung south, British and Canadian forces pushed from the north. German 7th Army and 5th Panzer Army faced encirclement near Falaise.
The Falaise pocket became a cauldron of destruction. Tens of thousands of German soldiers were trapped, bombed, and shelled into surrender or death. The remaining German forces retreated in chaos, leaving behind immense quantities of equipment and dead. Normandy was a decisive German defeat.
With the German front broken, the road to Paris lay open. French resistance fighters rose up, eager for liberation.
General Charles de Gaulle insisted French forces liberate their capital. General Leclerc's 2nd French Armored Division led the charge into Paris.
On August 25, 1944, Allied tanks rolled into Paris. Ecstatic crowds flooded the streets, cheering their liberators.
General de Gaulle marched down the Champs-Élysées, a powerful symbol of France reborn. The campaign that began on Normandy's beaches had reached its crescendo.
The Normandy campaign lasted 77 days, over 200,000 Allied casualties, alongside hundreds of thousands of German losses and French civilians dead.
From Omaha's bloodied sands to Paris's joyous boulevards, the D-Day landings and the battle for Normandy marked the true beginning of the end for Nazi Germany.
A monumental undertaking, executed by ordinary men facing extraordinary challenges, whose courage forged a path to freedom.